Welcome, AI Explorers. Excited to have you on another trip with us, my brother Jacob and I. Today we're going to talk about ChatGPT and the capabilities and advanced features of that platform. So I'm going to hand it over to my brother Jacob, and he's going to talk through some of these things, and I'll just interject some thoughts as we go along. So welcome, Jacob. Tell us about it.
Thanks, Warren. Yeah. We wanted to look at primarily some of those difference between ChatGPT 3.5 and version 4, especially as you kind of look at, GPTs coming out, custom GPTs that you can create and program, but also better understanding the capabilities that are there. And so this page on OpenAI's website is actually very helpful in understanding those differences. So let's talk about the free tier, the plus tier, which was the only paid subscription outside of the enterprise plan until recently when ChatGPT came out with the team plan for businesses. And then there's still obviously the enterprise plan. One of the things that's exciting about the team plan is that you don't have to apply. You can just sign up as a team. And that's, for me as a business owner with my law firm, that was super helpful for me to be able to create accounts and manage other people's accounts instead of telling everybody, sure, yeah, you can go ahead and sign up with your business credit card, but rather like, no, I'm going to manage the accounts from one central place. So definitely worth it if you have a team of people that you want to manage ChatGPT licenses for. But as we scroll down, of course, at the paid tier is where you get access to ChatGPT 4 and those additional tools like Dalle, browsing, and advanced analysis, which can be very important when you actually work with ChatGPT instead of just play with ChatGPT. Right, Warren?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that as I've been presenting about AI, and this is one of the things that I love about these tools is that they've made them so affordable. I mean, $20 a month for a subscription to a tool this powerful is amazing. The two tools that I use the most had cost me $50 a month, Midjourney and ChatGPT, and I'm more than happy with the offerings and the results that I'm getting from them.
Agreed. No, I couldn't agree more. Because what ChatGPT has done for me, it's helped me save a lot of time, but also a lot of money. And we'll talk about that here in a bit when we talk about the advanced analysis features. So as you come here, you can compare features across plans. So we've got the free, plus, team, and enterprise kind of all compared. So I'm just going to highlight some of the differences once we get to that plus tier, which is where you start to pay. Again, the team features tend to be focused on just the ability to manage it as a group. There aren't a whole lot of extra things you get from the team subscription, except for that you have expanded, I guess, GPT-4 access. So there's standard, expanded, and unlimited, which I'm very envious of at the enterprise level. Get some fast response times. You get a large context window. Again, I'm green with envy about the enterprise expanded context window.
Which is fun because it's green. The background is green.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that why you said that?
I think so, yeah. But what's cool is once you get to that paid tier, you can create and share your own GPTs, which is very exciting. But as soon as that ability came out, the first thing I wanted to do was create GPTs for my employees to use kind of in their work. And we're not going to dive in depth into any of those, but as we go through the My GPT section, you're going to see some stuff and be like, he is using it for his work. But yeah, you can share GPTs with your workspace. But more importantly, these are the GPT-4 kind of features. The image generation, the browsing, the ability for ChatGPT to see images so you can upload. I've often given it screenshots instead of other forms of input and said, hey, help me with this, or I'll take pictures. I've been able to help my kids with their homework because we're living in Madrid and Spanish homework, and I speak Spanish, but they don't. And so sometimes the best way is to just take a picture of the homework and say, here, translate this, help my kid with their homework. And we sit there and we kind of work it out together. It's been really fun.
Yeah, that is such an amazing feature. Being able to do that kind of thing. And for clients that I've been helping in their marketing and real estate sector, I've helped them able to insert documents and then have them create some data and analysis. And they've found some great success with that. So there are a variety of formats from Word documents, PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, CSVs that you can insert in here and get information from them beyond just an image.
Well, and let's actually talk about advanced data analysis. So one of my recent projects in my business has been to move from one CRM to another. We've moved to Odoo with my law firm, which has been really fun and kind of exciting because of how many tools it has available. But anytime you move data from one set of systems to another, there's going to be, you have to clean that data, make sure that it's importable, exportable, and all of that stuff. It was amazing to just put a spreadsheet into ChatGPT, have it clean it up, and give me a new spreadsheet or a new CSV. And that's due to the advanced data analysis feature. Completely incredible when I discovered that it could give me CSVs and those kinds of things. So
awesome.
Important for lawyers in particular, but also a variety of other professions. Look here at the privacy. So I recently attended an ethics seminar, and they talked about the privacy concerns surrounding, you know, lawyers putting client information into a platform like ChatGPT. And so at the team level, then they don't use the content you feed it to train the model. At the plus level, you have to opt out. So you have to make sure if you're a plus user, you're a sole practitioner or something like that, you need to make sure that you opt out. But at the team level, they just don't use the information to train the model, which is very helpful to know. I think, frankly, if you're a professional of any kind and you deal with sensitive client information, like particularly on the advanced data analysis, like as a lawyer, I use this a bunch, but I imagine if you're an accountant or somebody who deals with a lot of spreadsheets, that advanced data analysis can do so much for you. Like we had a client list above 6,000, lines and entries and stuff, and it was able to clean up the entire list in no time at all. It was truly amazing. The rest of the features are, again, more about team management, so we're not going to focus on those because the focus of this video is to talk about ChatGPT 4 and its specific features. And we know it's been out for a while, but it's always good to kind of see what's been developing. So do you have any other questions, Warren, before we dive into the actual platform itself?
No, I think those cover really well. And just to reiterate the data analysis, it's amazing at saving you time instead of you having to go line by line for things. And I know our brother Todd has talked about this too with me, how it saved him some time looking through the code of things and found issues. But he can see the invisible with his work, and it will just help you speed that process along. So definitely use it for analysis in any other kind of way that will help your life move along and get out of some of that tedium.
Well, and I would also say that, like, when it comes to, I'm saying like a lot today, when it comes to data analysis, ChatGPT really excels. Like, one of the problems with the platform in general is the tendency to hallucinate, to confidently assert things that aren't true, right? But when it comes to data, it doesn't do that, but it does a fantastic job of taking information you give it and sorting it and compiling it. And it doesn't hallucinate in those scenarios because it works within that spreadsheet or within the data set you give it. So I found that it's a really dependable tool in that way as well. So let's dive into the platform itself. And here we are, we're looking at ChatGPT 4. And I thought it would be helpful to start with the different things. So the browsing capability, the image creation, and the advanced data. And I wanted to start with the image creation, and then we'll do browsing and data analysis. But what's an image that you'd like to see? I know we play a lot with Midjourney on this channel, but we also have played with images and ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, let's stick with our theme that we've been going with. Let's create some food photography. Let's throw in something nice. So let's do a stack of pancakes.
Okay, help me create some food photography. Create a picture of a stack of pancakes with maple syrup. The plate should be on a kitchen table with Canadian decorations. Maple syrup. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. Let's see what it gives you. Now, with Midjourney, you can have aspect ratio parameters, and ChatGPT will respond in a similar fashion, but I haven't been able to give me like specific aspect ratios. I should probably study that a little bit more. But if
Yeah.
I give it a horizontal aspect ratio, it gives me that. If I ask for a vertical aspect ratio, it gives me that.
Okay, interesting. Cool. Definitely got the Canadian decorations. So the Canada flag everywhere, the maple syrup.
Now let's see how it does. If we ask, it can create multiple images at a time. And I think that's important. I would like to see a similar image in two different styles. First, a watercolor image similar to what you would find in a children's book. Second, a photorealistic, high-definition image of pancakes you would find on a franchise restaurant's website. And let's
I
see
was going to
how...
say the Betty Crocker cookbook.
Oh, yeah, no, I could have done a cookbook as well. Kind of curious to see. Now,
But no, both will do really well.
Whereas Midjourney gives you 4 options. You only get one with ChatGPT. Of course, you can keep going. You can keep generating images.
Yeah.
But it's only going to make one at a
True.
time. So here's our children's watercolor. Does a reasonable job with that.
Did okay, but it doesn't have that kind of out of the bounds. It seems too illustrated rather than watercolor.
Well, and it's also, I mean, look at the Canadian can here and the syrup.
Butter.
I guess this is butter. It's a big hunk of butter on top of those
That's
pancakes.
Kind of weird gray kind of butter.
Well, and it's stuff like this, like ChatGPT's image processing capabilities are amazing. I mean, all of it's amazing, but this is why we've talked about how we tend to use
See, now
Midjourney for
that
image
looks
creation.
way better.
Yeah, it's designed for like a website, and interestingly, the piece of butter on top of the pancakes is just fascinatingly thick and stable. So I don't know what its deal is with butter. All right, and then it gives me a
Cold
summary.
pancakes.
This is what we did.
Well, that's
love
one
how-
of the things that I really liked one time when I was asking it to help me edit some copy. I fed it the copy, and then I said, edit it, and I didn't give it any instructions beyond edit this. Make it improve its grammar and spelling. That's what I asked it for. And then it gave me a markdown of everything that it did. And I didn't ask for that, but it opened my mind to asking for that in the future. And so now anytime I ask it to edit copy, I'm always like, oh, tell me what you have changed and why. Give me a reason why, so that I can better understand the English language on my own, so when I write in the future. So it's a great training tool as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was having a conversation with someone recently, and they mentioned a study where artificial intelligence has been shown that it was like a call center, and they did kind of I don't know how scientific the test is, right? So it's one call center, but they were using AI, and I think ChatGPT, to train people how to answer the phone correctly. And what they discovered through using it was that for experienced people, the AI tool didn't really help them at all. They kind of already knew how to do the thing, right? But for new employees, it increased correct responses from new employees by like 40%. So
Oh, wow.
excellent training tool. But yeah, so it has that utility, and I think that's a way that people should definitely look at using ChatGPT.
That is fantastic.
So, for whatever reason, we stick with our pancake theme. Let's ask it to browse some stuff. Look up restaurant chains in the U.S. that serve pancakes. Provide the list of restaurant chains in a markdown table. Now, if you're using ChatGPT 3.5, you can use markdown format to do a lot of formatting of how things are displayed on the in the chat page. And that includes tables like this. Now, ChatGPT 3.5 cannot search the internet. So if I click on this quick search, it's just going to show me, the websites that it looked up, but that link is active there. And then here we've got, go ahead.
Did you note the partnership that they have with Microsoft? It was searching with Bing.
Right. Yes, it does search with Bing. And so if you've got a preference for something like Google or other places, I don't think there's an option currently to like change the search engine that's being used. So it's definitely using Bing.
I'm not aware of any change either.
And it is still going. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So
McDonald's, put it on the last.
I know. Yeah. Cracker Barrel. Fun places here. Snooze AM Eatery. I've never been there.
Thinking about it, you get those tiny, nice little pancakes at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Now, each of these is a link to a different website to kind of show where it did its work. But what I want to show you, so that's the browsing capability. Earlier we looked at the image creation. I now want to show you what the advanced data analysis can do. And then I'm going to ask it, can you provide that list in a CSV for me to download? Now, it's going to work on it a little bit, and you'll see this little icon that's going to function there. So it's analyzing. It's working on that. You can open this up, and it's running Python code. Like, that's what it's literally actually doing.
Oh, wow.
To put together this CSV. And so if you want to learn how to use Python better, you can absolutely use ChatGPT. And frankly, this is a pretty basic use of the advanced analysis feature. Like we mentioned, our brother Todd does computer programming. He's been using these tools for some time now, and it's excellent at computer programming. I'll add that with my transition to Odoo, there were some programming things that were a little beyond me, but I knew enough to be dangerous. And frankly, when you know enough to be dangerous with the help of ChatGPT, you actually become able to know enough to be proficient. Like I did things that I never would have been able to do. I can't believe it failed in the CSV task. Normally I'll handle that pretty easily.
I didn't know you could, honestly, I didn't know you could open it up and look at the background information that it was generating. So that's interesting. That was unknown
Yeah,
to
so
me.
it's using this to create it. And
import pandas. Okay.
Yeah. What's fun is sometimes it'll analyze and then it'll fail and then it'll say, my code didn't work. I'm going to try a different method. And so you can actually see like different sets of code that worked and didn't work to figure out.
Finished analyzing. There you go.
There you go. All right. So it's going to provide.
And you can see how fast it does that. That's the thing that I love the most is the efficiency of these tools to allow us to get on with the creation of content or things or help us with our work, assist us with the work that we're trying to accomplish.
Okay, I'm going to share the spreadsheet just so you can see it. Here you go. So it put it in a CSV, which I opened up in Numbers because I'm on a Mac. But you could open it in Excel. You could open it up with anything that does a CSV. Okay?
Cool.
So what's fascinating here is you could now go back in here and you can, I find that it's easier to give it the CSV back. And then I say, I would like you to add a column to this CSV. List the annual revenue for each chain in an additional column. Look up the information if you need to. If you can't find the information, that's fine too. You can provide a guesstimate or leave it blank. We'll just kind of see how it does. But I've found that it can actually perform a task like this. Then provide a new CSV for download. All right. So we're going to see how long it takes it to do this task, but it's analyzing. I don't know when it's going to search the web or if it already has that information because it looked it up already. We'll see. I might have also broken it. No, it's doing research. It's all like, wait a second. I need more info.
Yeah.
And here's what I found.
Well, and you talk about those kind of things. I mean, I wonder if and how, what are the capabilities? What can it do? Let's say you fed it a bunch of stock prices and you said, oh, is this a good stock? You know, what does that look like? I'm interested to find that out. I'm thinking, tinker with that.
You're all like, actually, I'm going to get started on that right now. So
yeah,
back in the actual chat here, we've seen that I had to start it over and regenerate it. So sometimes on a complex task, when you give it multiple things to do, a lot of times it can just handle it, can do it pretty quickly. Sometimes it needs to do one thing at a time. So I did ask it to do a pretty complex task, and it seems that it's having a tough time figuring out whether it should do the data analysis first or the browsing first. And then, frankly, it's a long list. So I told it to search up the revenue for, I don't know, 20 companies.
Yeah. Well, and with that, and that's where I was going with that analysis question was, what does that look like when you ask it to say, is investing in this company a good idea? You know, would it make some recommendations? And it probably would, but how trustworthy is that? Earlier you said hallucinations, and what does that look like there for our audience? What do you think?
So this is interesting. Look at the response it's giving it. So like I updated it for one of the cafes, but for the others I couldn't find anything. And we know that that's not true.
That's interesting.
If I told it to look up the information, if I like broke it down into steps, I'm confident that it could, you know, figure it out. But let's just look and see so that you can see that, yeah, it can update a spreadsheet. So there you go. Again, if we prompted it to go through the different steps, we could absolutely make this happen. But what you were saying, I think actually is a really good transition to custom GPTs, because I think if you gave ChatGPT specific enough instructions and said, look at resources here, or even there's an option to like upload knowledge to a custom GPT, it could then use that data to have a more informed response. So let's look at that.
That is a fascinating thing. And like you said earlier, when you give it information, it doesn't hallucinate. It looks at that and only that, and then makes adjustments or a good analysis, or gives you a summary, or gives you a better idea. So you could potentially enter some financial data and glean something back. Now, I'm going to put some caveats on that. Make sure that you've opted out so that you're not sharing that financial data with anybody, and then you have make sure that that's secure.
That's a good call. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to get to the GPTs. So you open up your sidebar. Here's the toggle for that. And then you come over here to explore GPTs. Now, I'm aware that not everybody has access to see the GPT store in its entirety. But if you do have it, you should be able to select My GPTs, which again, these are GPTs that I've been working on for my staff and for other things. And then additionally, let's go back to the main tab. These are the GPTs that are public and being shared online, okay? And you can see that these are GPTs that we have posted and published that we've been talking about. So there's the RPG Character Architect, but then there's also some of these other GPTs. Now, the RPG Character Architect we plan to keep and maintain free, so we're going to look at that one. This helps you make a Dungeons and Dragons character or a role-playing game character. And what you can do is you can edit the GPT, and you can kind of see here we've got these configuration steps. And I'm not going to show you I don't mind. This one's for free. We can show you the specific instructions we give it, and we have videos about this as well. But here you have capabilities, so you can give it the web browsing, the image generation, and the advanced analysis capabilities. You can even upload a knowledge file if that's something you want to do for your GPT. You're like, well, for this GPT to perform this task, it needs all of this information. So I'm going to upload a file. You can upload Word documents, PDFs. You can upload CSVs. I've tested a number of these things. One of the GPTs that I'm working on, I can give it a Word document template, and then it can provide that Word document template in the chat, modified with following some of my instructions, which is very handy. For those who are so inclined to link their GPT to like outside sources, here's an opportunity to do that as well when you add actions. And then on this side, I have a interesting relationship with the Create tab, because when you give it instructions, it'll come over here to the Configure tab, and it'll completely change these instructions. And I'm very much a stickler on giving very specific instructions. As you can see here, this is an almost 8,000 character prompt about how to generate a Dungeons and Dragons character. And so if ChatGPT is just erasing that and providing simplistic instructions, that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's handy at creating the images for the GPT, which is what we did here. Go ahead.
Yeah, as we've said many times, specificity really helps with these tools, making sure that they get the information that they need, and your end result is going to be better because you've added that specificity. Like my brother said with his prompt, and I'm doing similar things on my side with developing a GPT for a marketing plan creator for a property. So I'm feeding it certain things, and then I'm also providing a document that has some details about how I want that to be presented on the end. And I'm still in the tinkering stage, so it's not final, but I'm right now making those final polishes. So I'm excited to see what happens, and then I'm going to feed it to a friend of mine who's a senior real estate executive and say, hey, what do you think about this? Does it work for you? And
That's
if
awesome.
it works for him, I know I've met the goal. So
Cool. We're going to come back over here and show how you test a GPT, how you publish it. So this one's designed to create Dungeons and Dragons characters. We've talked about this at length in some of our other videos, but I'm just going to click on that button to make a level 4 elf bard. And so
great choice. I love how happy and optimistic
chipper it is. Yeah.
Yes, how chipper GPT is.
So this is following the specific instructions. I ask it to use Markdown format to give a name, title to these sections, Markdown tables, and it's going to go on and on. Go ahead.
You can obviously overwrite this. If you already have a name in mind, you can just say, I want this, develop a character with this name. And so it's smart enough to go, okay, well, this is the name that you've chosen, and these are certain things, attributes that you want. And so it will infuse those into your efforts.
Yeah, you can always give it additional context, and it works really well with that. So you can provide a link to this. You can copy it or you can delete it. But then you have these multiple save options. And if you want it available in the quote unquote store, which they haven't monetized yet, but I expect that to come soon, then you can share with everyone. As far as the RPG character architect, it's going to be a free GPT moving forward, and it currently is available in the store. I wanted to kind of look at another GPT that I've worked on, which is the Better Negotiator. So if you've logged into the GPT store, there's a negotiator GPT that's, I think, created by ChatGPT. And so one of the things that I like to do with GPTs is ask them, hey, what are your instructions? You know, what do you do? How do you work? How do you, what are you doing back there? And what was interesting is that the Negotiator GPT was based on the book Getting to Yes. It said Getting to Yes. And that was the book that I got in law school as well. But Warren, you and I have discussed the book Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Yep.
I've read it. You've read it. You have a signed copy, right?
I have a signed copy. It was a fantastic experience.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, so I recently read it, and I was all thinking, you know, I'd like to make a Negotiator GPT that uses Never Split the Difference instead of Getting to Yes. Now, what's cool is that ChatGPT is so adaptable that you could say, look, in this scenario, I do want to use a Getting to Yes approach, and it will adapt the steps for you. But you know, it's going to default to Never Split the Difference, which is fascinating. And what's really cool in this one is you can, I've instructed it to go through the 5 steps.
Cool.
Well, I guess we've created 5 steps. I'll just open up the GPT really quick. And, you know, it follows basically the philosophy of Never Split the Difference, so gather information, plan. And I ask it to help go through that one sheet that Chris Voss provides and help you kind of plan for your negotiation that way. But what's really fascinating is you can practice a negotiation scenario. And in ChatGPT 4, with the voice ability, I can open my phone and actually talk to it. And I can say, hey, you pretend to be this person. I'm going to be me. And let's play out this negotiation to see how it goes. And it's been fascinating to see how ChatGPT can respond. And sometimes I even was all like, be snarkier. I think this person would be a bigger jerk than you are. and it gets really passive aggressive. It was really fascinating. Or sometimes I'm all like, okay, let me try this new strategy. And it'll go, okay, let's go back a couple of steps. And it's really kind of interesting. So I've enjoyed playing with the Better Negotiator. And to show you what that looks like, I am going to share it with everyone, and we'll put it in, where should we put it? Other, education, writing?
Probably put it in other.
Other. Here we go. So you switch, I had it published to only me. Now I'm going to publish it to everyone. Confirm. And now the Better Negotiator is out there, or will be soon, in the GPT store. We can view it here. And it's available not only to us, but also to you. So
let me go see if I can find it.
Yeah, good. And for those of you who are following at home, you can go to Explore GPTs, and then let's see if we can find Better Negotiator.
Well, unfortunately, my account does not have the GPT store, so it's not letting me go find.
Right, that's
GPTs
one of the
yet.
limitations. Hopefully, they'll resolve that soon. But I hope that this has been a good overview of ChatGPT 4, of what its capabilities are, and a little bit about how you can begin to work with custom GPTs for your office, for yourself, in a variety of different use cases.
Well, thank you so much for educating us on these capabilities within the ChatGPT platform. It's been really informative and created a lot of ideas for myself on what I'm going to do next. So thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. And I think our audience will also agree. So good to see you again, AI Explorers. Keep exploring and let us know how you are using these things in your life to improve your work and your personal applications like our D&D prompt.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.